Hey everyone, so I just want to do a quick demo video on how to varnish a painting. Here in front of us we've got two different types of varnishes that I'll talk about in a second. A little sample painting that we're going to do a varnish coat on, and then just a soft bristled brush that I've cleaned and reuse every time I do this. So before we get started, let's talk about the varnishes. So Liquitex Professional Grade is what I personally use. And here I've got a satin varnish and a gloss varnish. There's also a matte varnish that can give you the least amount of sheen when you put on a coat. And then if you look on the back of these before you purchase them, it gives you application instructions, but also just kind of lays down the transparent versus opaque, permanent versus removable, its ultimate finish, and then just where it falls on the gloss versus matte scale. So again, you can just look at that and review that, and however you prefer to finish your paintings, you can choose that. So let's talk about what varnishing is and what it can do for you. So if you look at this painting here, you can see, as I kind of put it up against the light, how some of the paints have a sheen to them, and then some of them don't. So like the background here is a real just dull, flat color, and then like alizarin crimsons are really popular for having just a sheen in them when they dry. And a few other colors and pigments do that. And so what varnishing will do for you is it'll put not only is it a protective coat on the actual paint itself, but it ends up being, it kind of balances that out, and it puts an even sheen across the entire face of the canvas. And obviously, depending on whether it's matte or if you go all the way to glossy, it just depends on which one you choose. But it evens it all out. It also sharpens the chroma of the paint pigments that you use. So a lot of your colors in here will become a little more vibrant. Your contrasts sharpen, your highlights pop, your darks darken a little bit. So just is a really just step up in the professional grade when it comes to just finishing, putting a nice finish on your painting. This is obviously a pretty small painting, a little 4x6 that I did a couple years ago that I just haven't done any varnish to, and so just a great opportunity to demo. And then here the brush, just again just soft bristled, and what that'll do is you want to use this on your canvas before it's dry, but you want to use it on your canvas before you apply any varnish. So you want to make sure that the paint is dry to the touch, that it's not going to smear off or rub off, and then you want to make sure that the surface is clean and clear of any dust or dirt particles. And so I usually just take my brush and we'll just do a quick brush around and just to ensure the surface is clear and clean. Once we know that it is, then we can go ahead and add the varnish. I'm going to go ahead and utilize the satin varnish to just kind of get that nice middle balance, and you want to put enough on here that you're going to cover all the square inches of what you're looking at. And that actually might have been a little too much for this square inch, but it does kind of go a little way. So anyway, once you've got it on there, you can spread it around with your brush, and you might be able to start to see how some of the colors are starting to sharpen up. And if you can tell in here, it kind of has a little bit of a foggy, murky look to it. That will go away once it dries, right? The big thing here is you want to make sure that you're able to cover all the square inches. So you can kind of there you go. So you're able to cover all the square inches of the canvas that we're looking at. And obviously, if you have a larger canvas, you're going to require more. You're going to require more varnish. So as we go around here, just make sure we get all the edges. Make sure we get a good strong finish here. And then as we're brush stroking here, this is a fine enough liquid that it does take shape of the brush bristles, and so you want to make sure that how you brush your canvas, that's going to leave some sheen marks, and it kind of levels out a little bit. But what I like to do is I like to go parallel with the ground depending on how the painting is going to hang. And so because this is a landscape format, I'll do my brush strokes horizontal to what the horizon is going to be, and I will just back and forth, kind of lay those out, do that a couple times, and just leave a nice thin coat. And you can see it's glossy now, and it'll dry and still kind of have that same gloss, but again, that murkiness will go away, and it just really does a nice clean finish, an even sheen across the whole thing, and just gives it a real nice professional touch before you hang it, put it up for sale, put it up for exhibit, whatever you're going to do with it, is definitely a varsity move when it comes to finishing your painting. So, and it's that simple. So, again, Liquitex professional grade varnish. This will be dry within about 30 minutes, at least to the touch. And it's always good to give it about 24 hours of solid dry time before you want to add either another coat or expose it to any major source of humidity in the environment you're working with. So it's that simple. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, or you can post up comments under the video. But I just wanted to demo that for you guys and show you how easy it is to varnish a painting and just step up and make a professional grade look from something as simple as a $4 bottle of Liquitex. So I hope you enjoyed that and that it was simple. Again, if you got any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys later.